The headlines tonight on Dateline Scotland. The battle we've all been waiting for has been waged and won. Salmond and Alistair Darling went head-to-head last night in what was immediately voted more gripping than The Wire multiplied by watching people sleep in Big Brother.
We'll be bringing you all the highlights, expert analysis and recipes from the political bout of the century.
Also on tonight's programme, with just over 6 weeks to go till the referendum, a new Yes Group launches which draws the spotlight for the very first time on Scotland's nuclear deterrent.
And if all that wasn't enough, Chief Secretary to the Treasury Danny Alexander was forced once again to deny Lord Ashdown's accusations that his hair has in fact dyed in a shallow attempt to appeal to Scottish voters.
It was constructed by a malicious peer trying to damage the Liberal Democrats.
Good evening. Last night's titanic clash between Alistair Darling and Alex Salmond saw TV viewing figures breaking all records, eclipsing even the final episode of Glenn Michael's cartoon Cavalcade in 1987. Broadcast live from the Royal Conservatoire in Glasgow, the showdown that everyone was waiting for surpassed everyone's expectations. The Salmond-Darling MasterChef final was watched by over 5.6 million Scots.
As we know, cooking does not get tougher than this.
Alex Salmond wooed the judges with his beef cheek confit on a bed of kale, seasoned with a radish and peanut butter jus.
That's not a bad attempt, Alex.
Alex, I really like your flavours. I love that big punch of chilli and the saltiness of the olives, the sweetness of the peppers.
I think Alex is good enough to go through.
I agree.
Alistair Darling, though riding high initially, struggled with the invention round in which he failed to impress the judges with a mediocre Cranachan.
As a Cranachan goes, it's not the most elegant Cranachan I've ever seen in my life, and by mixing all the oats through the cream, it's got that weird texture of cold porridge, and it tastes to me more like something you have for breakfast rather than something you have after a meal. I don't think it's very good at all.
Joining us now from our Peebles studio to discuss the political implications of last night's final is the Guardian resident political food critic Seb Foucault. Seb, thanks very much for joining us. What would you say was the significance of last night's competition?
Well, look, I can make or break chefs. I mean, I can send restaurants down. But what I saw last night, pleasantly surprised, a little bit disappointed towards the end, promise.
How will these dishes impact on the referendum?
Well, Alistair's dishes on the whole were very so-so, cautious, safe pair of hands. But I think Alex's bean to Jean, yes, did have some promise.
What would you say we might extrapolate from last night's offerings?
Well, I think Alistair will go home tonight feeling that his jus was disappointing. But I do think that Alex needs to work more in his desserts. He just didn't have what it takes for me.
And one final question. Is this a game changer?
I should cocoa.
Seb Foucault, thanks for joining us.
Coolio.
You're watching Dateline Scotland, up to the minute and knee-deep in news. Don't forget you can tweet us at Dateline Scot, and you can also visit our website at datelinescotland.com. This week saw the announcement of the latest group to come out in favour of independence ahead of next month's referendum. Nuclear Submariners for Yes got underway officially at Faslane Naval Base yesterday. Our defence correspondent Bryony Lang has more.
Since their debut in 1945, nuclear weapons have protected us all from the threat of nuclear weapons. Since the end of the Second World War, to the Cuban Missile Crisis and the fall of the Berlin Wall, nuclear weapons have kept us safe. The UK's nuclear arsenal is, of course, based on the west coast of Scotland, which technically makes it the safest place in the whole of the United Kingdom. And it's here that Nuclear Submariners for Yes have added their voice to the separatist campaign. I've taken to the streets to ask some ordinary Scots what they think of this newly minted Yes group. Ask you how you feel about the new pro-independence group, Pro-Submariners for Yes.
I've never heard of them.
I actually didn't know about that.
Neither did I.
We don't pay much attention to the independence thing.
Don't know anything about it, I'm sorry.
So while this new group has been met with mixed response from ordinary Scots, this must be one nuclear launch the Yes campaign is hoping does go with a bang. Bryony Lang for Dateline Scotland, on the streets.
And finally, today saw growing pressure from within the Liberal Democrats on the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Danny Alexander. Following the latest in a series of allegations from Lord Ashdown, the hair dye scandal, which originally broke in the Telegraph on Tuesday, now threatens to destabilise the coalition. Speaking to us earlier this afternoon, Mr Alexander remained defiant, stating he had no intention of resigning.
I think we should take it with a very heavy pinch of salt. I'm content to stand on my record in my own constituency, and I think I will get very strong support at the next election, and I look forward very much to serving in Parliament, and I hope in government too, in the next Parliament.
Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Danny Alexander, speaking to us earlier today.
And that gives us just enough time to take a quick look at tomorrow's headlines.
The Scottish Sun, Glasgow braces for obscurity, and that's a reference to the end of the games.
The Scottish Daily Mail, I'm not reading this out loud.
The Herald, Cameron denies huge oil discovery beneath Kelvingrove Park.
The Eye have gone with Wikipedia warns Swinney stop editing occupation.
And the Daily Record has gone with Ian Smart off-switch discovered. A nation breathes a sigh of relief. Until next time, on behalf of everyone here at Dateline Scotland, thank you for joining us and have a very pleasant evening.
Good night.